Welcome to EPG Pathashala. I am Ravi Korisetter, Senior Fellow, Dr. V.S. Wakankar Archaeological Research Institute, Bhopal. In the subject of Indian culture and paper 2 on pre and protohistoric cultures of India, let us now discuss on the Mesolithic cultures of Indian subcontinent with the help of visuals and graphics. The objectives of this presentation is to help us understand the characteristic features of the Mesolithic culture, the chronology of the Mesolithic culture, nature of settlements, distribution of these settlements, and the lifeways of the Mesolithic communities across the Indian subcontinent based on excavations that have been carried out at a number of sites in India in the last several decades. The important features of the Mesolithic culture are to be noted in terms of this phase being a transitional phase between the Paleolithic and Neolithic, lasting for several thousands of years. In terms of general chronology, Mesolithic culture is placed between 10,000 years to as recently as 2 to 3,000 years ago. It's sometimes found to exist along with the later early agricultural settlements of the Neolithic period as well. The characteristic features of the Mesolithic period in terms of subsistence based on the availability of faunal record is indicative of the fact that these communities were largely hunter-gatherers, and sometimes they also indulged in pastoral activity with incipient domestication of wild resources of variety of grains that were available in the environment in which these people were inhabiting. These sites are better preserved in the sense that they do not belong to the remote past, and as a result the preservation of faunal material is much higher than in earlier sites. The record of animal remains includes Indian humped cattle, gaur, buffalo, sambar, cheetal, gazelle, hot deer, nilgai, jackal, fox, monitor lizard, barasinga, rhinoceros, elephant, tortoise, fish and porcupine, indicating the fact that these people were also exploiting the aquatic food resources in the environment in which they were living. There are evidences of early domestication of cattle, sheep, camel, pig, dog, etc. As indicated by the evidence from some of the sites like Kanewal, Loteshwar and Ratanpur in western India. Adamgarh and Bhimbetka in Madhya Pradesh are important rock shelter Mesolithic sites that we know for a long time. Multidisciplinary investigations at several Mesolithic sites in western India and central India have given us evidence which can help us reconstruct the paleo environment during the time of the Mesolithic period in India. Paleoclimate and environmental studies reveal that the regional climates were not uniform across the Indian subcontinent. Sedimentological studies, faunal analysis, lake deposit studies and palynological studies have clearly indicated regional variation in the paleo environment. The site of Birbanpur happens to be one of the earliest sites excavated in India. Along with that, the sand dune sites in western India such as Langnaj and Theri sites in southeast coast of India in Tamil Nadu in the Tinnevelli districts have also indicated existence of arid conditions during the time of Mesolithic occupation in those areas. Didwana and Sambar lakes are important locations where Mesolithic settlements have been documented, and the study of lake profiles have also given clear picture of fluctuation in the freshwater and slack water conditions in this region. In eastern Madhya Pradesh, the existence of wet and hot humid conditions with very heavy rainfall have also been reconstructed in the context of Mesolithic culture. Another most important aspect of Mesolithic sites is the well preserved evidence of the burial practices amongst the Mesolithic communities in India. Earliest evidence of intentional human burial, disposal methods, biological composition of the community, dietary habits of the community, the pathological aspects of the community as well as social organization of Mesolithic period has been reliably reconstructed on the basis of the evidence procured from series of sites in the Ganga Valley and central India. In addition to that, aesthetic expressions complement other archaeological data for reconstruction of technology, economy, social and religious organizations. This is been made possible because of the discovery of a variety of rock art associated with the Mesolithic settlements in central India, as well as in some parts of southern India in recent years. The burial practices have been systematically reconstructed. It has been observed that the dead were oriented east-west in shallow rectangular pits in extended positions, and along with the dead, grave goods were also kept. This evidence comes from sites like Mahadaha, Damdama and Sarai Nahar Rai in the Ganga Valley. The Ganga Valley sites have played a major role in our understanding of the hunter-gatherer life phase of the Mesolithic period, the evidence from these sites have been very systematically documented and has been subject to detailed study from multidisciplinary perspectives. The Ganga Valley sites are also to be noted as open-air oxbow lake occupation sites. During the Mesolithic period, there is extensive occurrence of rock shelter sites, and each of these rock shelter sites are known for their rock art, and that has been attributed to the Mesolithic community. As a matter of fact, the oldest known rock art site in India was discovered in 1860s by Archibald Carlyle in the Mirzapur district of Uttar Pradesh. The site of Maharana Pahar was one of the earliest rock art sites, which also revealed the existence of human occupation in the rock shelter area. Since then, a large number of rock shelters, several hundred rock shelter sites have been found in central India. And the best examples of rock art have been known from the Bhimbetka region. The rock art includes two broad categories in terms of portable art and rock art. Portable art in the context of Mesolithic culture is rare, whereas some examples are known from a couple of sites. A chert core with geometric engraving from Chandravati in Rajasthan, engraved bone objects from Bhimbetka, and geometric designs engraved on human teeth, beads, as well as ostrich eggshells are known from sites in southern and western India. Realistic portrayal of animals, humans, and activities of hunting by spear, bow, arrow, trapping of animals, snaring, fishing, plant food collecting, gathering, and dancing, etc., formed major themes of rock art associated with the rock shelters of the Mesolithic period. Hematite pieces for pigment has been obtained from several sites, indicating the fact that red pigment was the most sought after material for preparing the paste for executing art. Bhimbetka in Madhya Pradesh, Mirzapur rock shelters in Uttar Pradesh are the best examples. In recent years, several sites in southern India in the region of Jwalapuram have also produced evidence of the use of hematite in the context of rock art of that period. We have here two examples of two important rock art sites in India. One is Bhimbetka, the other one is Jwalapuram 9 locality. Both are rock shelters which have a broad panel of rock art depicting variety of imageries. At Bhimbetka in period 2, depictions include small sized stylized figures which show linear decorations on the body. Animals, human figures and hunting scenes are very common. Weapons such as barbed spears, pointed sticks, bows and arrows are other category. Depiction of communal dances, birds, musical instruments, mother and child, pregnant women, men carrying dead animal, etc. are other imageries that we see on the rock art. In the context of Jwalapuram 9 locality, earliest paintings are either red or white, located on southern overhangs of the quartzite boulders. Ochre fragments have been dated to about 15 to 11,000 years ago. This indicates the fact that we have evidence for later Pleistocene rock art in India, as well as the rock art tradition can be pushed backwards in time to the Upper Paleolithic time period as well. But large number of rock art imageries that we have documented at Jwalapuram are of the early Holocene time period. Absolute chronology of the Mesolithic sites has been possible because the sites have preserved a variety of suitable material that can be subject to radiocarbon dating as well as thermoluminescence dating. In the context of the Mesolithic culture in India, radiocarbon dating has helped us figure out the time frame for the Mesolithic culture. Here are some of the sites which have been dated by radiocarbon and TL dates. Amongst them, Adamgarh, Sarai Nahar Rai, Bhimbetka, Adamgarh, Bagor phase 2 as well as Jwalapuram have given us an array of radiocarbon dates. Now, the geographic distribution of Mesolithic sites as well as the nature of settlements associated with a variety of landforms is given in this list. For example, the Mesolithic period witnessed the expansion of hunter-gatherer populations into those areas which were not previously occupied by the hunter-gatherers. Here, they spread into new environmental areas, particularly the regions where the availability of cryptocrystalline silica raw material and perennial source of water along with plant and animal food resources were most preferred. Sites known from all parts of India and several of these representative sites from different parts of the Indian subcontinent have been excavated also. It indicates the fact that while we have a restricted geographical distribution of Paleolithic sites, in the context of Mesolithic sites, the barriers have been overcome and these communities were now venturing into new environments under the Holocene favorable climatic conditions. And this also indicates that this period witnessed the first population explosion in human history. Much larger and better preserved sites are also known from different geomorphic contexts. They are found along the hill slopes, in the caves, in the rock shelters, along the banks of the rivers, as well as lake sites. In the Ganga Valley particularly, most of these Mesolithic sites are associated with abundant channels which have been identified as oxbow lakes. In the Kurnool districts, a large number of limestone caves and rock shelters have been identified in the recent past, and they have given clear evidence of the presence of Mesolithic activity in that region. Along the coastal regions of India, as well as in the arid regions of northwestern India, in Rajasthan in particular, we have these Mesolithic sites associated with the sand dunes. While the Rajasthan sand dunes are attributed to the arid conditions, similarly the formation of terry sand dunes along the coastal regions in the Tinnevelly districts of Tamil Nadu are also attributed to an arid phase during the times of lower sea levels. On tops of these mounds, there is a clear evidence of occupation during the Mesolithic period. In the Indo-Ganga plains, as I mentioned earlier, in the districts of Pratapgarh and Varanasi, large number of Mesolithic sites are known and they have been systematically documented. Amongst them, the sites of Chopani Mando, Mahadaha, Sarai Nahar Rai stand out as major excavations of the Mesolithic sites. In the Deccan Plateau, most of the Mesolithic sites are associated with the rocky outcrops where there is a occurrence of cryptocrystalline silica material such as chalcedony, agate, jasper, and occasionally chert material was also used by these Mesolithic hunter-gatherers in that region. Majority of the excavated sites are in western and central India. Raw materials, tools, tool types, and techniques include a variety of microlithics produced by using fluted core technology. There is also a regional diversity in typological composition as well as regional variation in the way in which different cryptocrystalline raw materials were used for making microlithic tools. Microliths range in size between 1 centimeter to 5 centimeters. Pressure technique was the most common technique employed during the Mesolithic period, and the presence of large number of fluted cores indicates the fact that pressure technique was the main technology employed for producing parallel-sided slender blades, which were later modified into backed blades, points, lunates, crescents, and several other geometric forms as well. In addition to the existence of typical geometric and non-geometric varieties of microliths, some of the rectangular blades were obliquely truncated, and they were used as drill and bifacial points. This is the time we also have evidence of continuity of production of objects of ornament such as beads. Although in the Mesolithic context, the evidence for objects of ornament is very rare, but it is now possible to infer the continuity of this particular tradition right from the Upper Paleolithic times in India. These tools were used as composite tools. The individual tools were hafted and then subject to perform various functions intended by the user. Retest blades include blunted blades, penknife blades, and crescentic blades, etc. Bones also were a source of raw material for producing variety of bone tools during the Mesolithic period. As we have already noted, the employment of bone, animal bone, for making artifacts or tools or implements began as early as Upper Paleolithic, even in the Indian context. These are some of the examples of a variety of stone tools as well as the microliths which were used for hafting and in the production of harpoon mounted points and curved sickle with hafted microliths, long sickle with hafted microliths and so on, and as well as variety of microblades that were produced using cryptocrystalline raw materials as well as crystal quartz is shown in this particular figure. Few more examples of the way in which artifacts were subject to use and the variety of types that were produced during the Mesolithic period. As mentioned earlier, Jwalapuram rock shelter 9 excavations have revealed the continuity of microlithic tool tradition going back to 35,000 years ago, and they continue into the Holocene period. It also indicates the fact that rock shelters were for the first time occupied during the Upper Paleolithic period, and they were extensively occupied during the Mesolithic period. In the Jwalapuram area, as many as 100 rock shelter sites have been found containing not only rock art on the exposed surfaces. At the base of each and every rock shelter, we have evidence of occupation ranging in time from Mesolithic to Upper Paleolithic time periods. This site of Muchhatla Chintamanu Gavi is a cave site in the Bechamcharla Valley. This was excavated by Dr. M.L.K. Murthy of Deccan College in the 1970s. The evidence from this particular site has been very helpful in tracing the antiquity of microliths as well as obtaining a TL date for the site, which indicates that this cave was in use in the later Pleistocene itself. Bhimbetka, as we all know, is one of the most well-known prehistoric site in India. Although it has been known for excavation of continuity of Lower Paleolithic, Middle Paleolithic, and Upper Paleolithic, in the region of Bhimbetka, where a large number of rock shelters have given evidence of Mesolithic burials, rock art, as well as occupation of a variety of geomorphic environments in the Vindhyan Basin. These sites are key to understanding the hunter-gatherer lifeways in the region of the Vindhyas. Stratigraphy at Bhimbetka, this particular slide presents the excavation at 3F23, where upper layers have given the abundant occurrence of microlithic blades, geometric microliths like triangles, trapezoids, and crescents on chalcedony, and also rock art. So in addition to lithic artifacts, this rock shelter excavation has also given evidence of use of bone tools and also evidence of processing grains which were gathered from the wild. Other sites in central India include Adamgarh in Hoshangabad district. It was excavated in the 1960s by R.V. Joshi. The upper layer going to a depth of 1 to 3 meters has given evidence of Mesolithic and a later Neolithic Chalcolithic occupation. This is closely associated with a local riverbed for procuring raw materials such as chert, chalcedony, jasper and agate. Tools also included triangles, trapezoids, points, blades, awls, scrapers, burins, etc. Excavations have also yielded wild fauna of some of these animals mentioned here, and this is where this site along with Bhimbetka have contributed to a detailed understanding of the Mesolithic culture in the Vindhyas, particularly in the region north of the Narmada river. The sites of Lekhakia and Baghai Khor are also in the Vindhyas in the eastern region in the district of Mirzapur. Both sites are in Uttar Pradesh. Here again, a series of microlithic tools have been documented from excavation, and in addition to that, evidence of extended burials have also been recorded. The site of Langnaj was discovered by late Professor H.D. Sankalia in western India in Gujarat. The site was also for the first time systematically excavated, and this happens to be the earliest excavation of a Mesolithic site in India. This major scatter of Mesolithic artifacts and a large number of burials are associated with the fossilized sand dune here. And for the first time, the existence of burial in the context of Mesolithic period were identified here, and systematic study of the human remains was also carried out. Bagor is another important site in western India. Now, this site was also discovered by V.N. Mishra, and the site was excavated in 1968-70. This is also situated on top of a sand dune, and 3 distinctive phases of occupation have been exposed through excavation. Phase 1 happens to be the earliest level, which includes exclusive occurrence of microliths, and they have been dated to about 5000 to 2800 BC. Local quartz and chert geomorphic triangles and trapezoids, shallow querns and rubbing stones, hammer stones, red ochre pieces, faunal material, including a variety of domesticated sheep, goat, cattle, wild cattle, deer, pig, jackal, rat, monitor lizard, river turtle and fish have been collected from this excavation in this particular phase 1. Large floors of quarried schist slabs, probable windbreaks and also butchering spots have also been noted at this particular site. So Bagor happens to be one of the most important sand dune sites in western India along with Langnaj. So the evidence that has been gathered from the sites of Langnaj and Bagor contributed to our understanding the regional distribution of Mesolithic sites in the context of sand dunes. Chandravati microliths also include the well-known types, including the fluted cores and long parallel slided slender blades are shown here. The site of Faisra is known for the Paleolithic occupation, but in eastern India there are not many sites that have been systematically studied, but here there is a thin deposit of occurrence of microlithic deposits here. Faisra happens to be the only evidence of an early Mesolithic habitation in the whole of eastern India. A very, very thin deposit indicating short-term occupation has been revealed by the investigators here. A 105 square meter section of the Mesolithic floor was excavated, which revealed fireplace traces and a small number of tools, including microgravitian point, lunates, side scrapers and backed plates. Bhimbetka in West Bengal was very early excavated by Professor B.B. Lal It also gave evidence of occupation and a factory site. Tools were made from quartz, chert and chalcedony. Bagor 2 in Madhya Pradesh was excavated in the 1980s, and as many as 6 layers were revealed through the excavation. Very few finished tools such as triangles and trapezoids were obtained from here. Hammer stones, fragments of grinding stone were also documented. These 3 sites are important for us because when we have more of these excavated sites in western and central and southern India, information regarding the Mesolithic lifeways can be obtained from sites which are located in eastern India as well. And that in that context, these sites are important for us. A few pieces of hematite and ochre, burnt clay pieces, charcoal pieces, post holes, 15 large, partially open, semi-permanent windbreaks or sunshades, tabular stone pieces for paving the floor, sleeping or storage platforms, headrests or hearths, and 3 hoof marks of sambar deer. So Bagor excavation is important for us because a systematic documentation of the lifeways in terms of artifacts that are reflecting upon the use of hearth, the use of stone slabs for protecting themselves from wind, and paving the floor for hard surface and so on have been very clearly documented. Chopani Mando is another site in the Belen Valley where phase 2 and 3 are representative of the Mesolithic time period. Phase 2A and phase 2B represent geometric and non-geometric phases of development of microliths here. Phase 2A non-geometric chert tools include blades, borers, scrapers, points, and 2 circular huts. Phase 2B includes geometric microliths and ground plan of 5 circular huts with stone fragments. Small pieces of bone and burnt clay lumps bearing reed impressions are also observed. Phase 3 microliths reveal anvils, millers, querns, hammerstones, ringstones, charred rice, burnt clay lumps, and reed marks. Animal bones, variety of them, 13 circular and oval huts, and 4 burials and bases of storage bins of bamboo and clay, wild cattle, and sheep and goat are also recorded. Chopani Mando in the Bolan Valley for the first time provided clear evidence of occupation sites pertaining to the Mesolithic period, as clearly reflected by the gamut of cultural material systematically documented from here. In the Ganga Valley, another site of importance is Damdama, and followed by Sarai Nahar Rai. Sarai Nahar Rai happens to be one of the well excavated Mesolithic sites in India. It is associated with a lake shore or an oxbow lake, and a large number of microliths have been documented from here, and variety of faunal remains including shells, bones of bison, rhinoceros, stag, fish and tortoise have been collected from here. As many as 11 human burials have been, along with grave goods, have been excavated within the habitation area. Skeletal remains of 9 men, 4 women and a child have been identified, and multiple burials such including 4 skeletons in one pit and 1 skeleton with embedded with an arrow in its ribs is a significant find. Evidence of osteoarthritis and a good dental health have been identified by archaeoanthropologists working here. Hearths, patches of burned floor plaster, charred wild grains and animal bones, and domesticated rice have also been domesticated. 41 human burials, 1 with an ivory pendant as grave good, is also been documented. Mahadaha is another site in the Ganga Valley which is located on an oxbow lake. Habitation area with microliths on chert, quartzite, chalcedony, crystal and agate is being demarcated, and these raw materials were transported from the Vindhyan region. In terms of activities performed by these people, specific areas for butchering based on the evidence of bones of wild cattle, hippopotamus, deer, pigs and turtles bearing cut marks indicative of the fact that butchering of animals was carried out at the site itself. The burials were in elliptical pits. 30 individuals have been documented, and within the habitation area, nearly 28 burials have been documented from here. Grave goods included microliths, shells, burnt animals, bone arrowheads and rings, and other varieties of materials such as ochre have also been recovered. Skeletal analysis carried out by archaeoanthropology gives us a picture of the physical aspects of these community. They were tall people with good physical health, and evidence of osteoarthritis has also been detected. When we look at the information that has been gathered from excavations of the Mesolithic sites in the Ganga Valley, it has now been possible to clearly say that Central Indian Ganga Valley sites are more important for understanding the Mesolithic hunter-gatherer lifeways in that particular region. However, even in peninsular India, there are a large number of sites. Unfortunately, most of them are surface sites, and occupational deposits are very, very thin. As a result, most of the studies on Mesolithic culture is based on surface scatter of microlithic artifacts. Here are some of the sites that were known from the early days. There are coastal sites near Bombay. There are inland sites like Jalahalli and Kibbanhalli in Karnataka. Major river valley sites like Nagarjunakonda, and inland sites in Renigunta and Betumchalla area, where we see the distinctiveness of the microlithic industries. In this region, microliths were made from quartz crystal because the granitic terrain does not contain occurrence of cryptocrystalline silica such as chert, chalcedony and jasper. In Kerala, there are a few sites are also known that are shown in this particular slide. In conclusion, microlithic proportion of tools started appearing in the last phase of the Upper Paleolithic, or as we know now very clearly, during the entire late Pleistocene time period, we have the occurrence of microliths, but their profusion increases during the Mesolithic time period. Non-local transported raw materials for tool making indicated the ranging habits of the hunter-gatherer communities in the Ganga Valley as well as in other parts of peninsular South India. There is evidence in the context of Mesolithic studies that they also had contact with settled communities in the environment. Paucity of excavated sites in South India is one of the reasons why we are unable to talk about the burial practices amongst the Mesolithic communities in peninsular South India. However, sites like Jwalapuram and Muchhatla, Chintamanu, Gavi, although they have not yielded full skeletal remains, fragments of cranial fragments of a child have been recovered from Jwalapuram levels. In summary, archaeologists are in a better position to reconstruct the lifeways of hunter-gatherer communities belonging to the Mesolithic period as compared with the Upper Paleolithic and earlier periods. The large number of sites that are scattered across the Indian subcontinent gives us an idea that this was the time period when major population explosion occurred in human history. For more details, I would like to recommend you the e-text part of this particular module. Thank you.